Every mind has a throne. Every decision, every hesitation, every unguarded thought is a soldier on a battlefield waiting for orders. The war begins within, long before it manifests in conversation, negotiation, or presence. Obedience is power, but power begins with the mastery of self. Fail to command your inner court, and even the smallest dissent outside will ripple into chaos. The weak dictate the pace when your mind surrenders to distraction, fear, or indecision. Influence, reputation, opportunity, all are at stake. The moment you hesitate, your first enemy is not the voice across the table or the audience watching your moves. It is the subtle manipulation of your own doubts. Every unexamined thought is a breach in your fortress, a corridor where the enemy can infiltrate before you even engage. Guard your mind like the walls of a citadel, patrol every corner of your attention, and treat every distraction as an intruder to be neutralized. Silence the internal chatter that undermines confidence, and calibrate your responses with precision. Obedience begins with the self, mastering fear, hesitation, and impulse. Calmness is not passive, it is a strategic deployment of mental resources, a quiet weapon that positions you above the fray. Consider a disagreement at work. A colleague challenges your proposal publicly. Instead of immediate rebuttal, you observe, measure intent, and respond once clarity has fortified your stance. The room shifts, the tension rebalances, and your authority emerges unshaken. Weak reacting emotionally, strong responding deliberately. Weak allowing anxiety to dictate tone, strong using silence as leverage. Weak yielding space, strong maintaining presence. Every thought, every action is a pawn or a knight in your inner chessboard. Anticipate, position, strike only when advantage is secured. This is not about coercion. It is about commanding respect through competence, calm, and clarity. Each micro decision compounds into macro influence, reinforcing your throne. Guard it relentlessly. Your words, measured. Your gestures, precise. Your presence, unassailable. Let the internal army follow your command before any external legion ever acts. Command yourself first, and obedience from others becomes inevitable, an echo of the dominion you maintain within. Let this be your constant mantra as you move through every interaction and encounter. I am sovereign, I command, I endure. Your mind is the throne from which every strategy, decision, and influence radiates. It is not a passive seat, but a command center, a fortress of thought where every inclination, every distraction, and every fear is either a loyal subject or a traitor awaiting opportunity. Treat it as royalty. Sovereign thoughts are not idle musings, they are declarations of power that ripple through every action you take. A single unguarded moment allows hesitation or doubt to stage a coup, undermining your authority before you even confront the external world. Guard your court relentlessly. Recognize the saboteurs within, fears that whisper weakness, doubts that question competence, and toxic influences that erode clarity, and neutralize them with disciplined awareness. Visualize your dominion clearly. See yourself as the unshakable ruler whose decisions shape reality itself. This is not vanity but tactical foresight. Perception of authority begins internally, and the outer world will mirror the calm control cultivated in the mind's throne room. Every thought that drifts without scrutiny is a potential breach in your fortress. Intercept it before it gains momentum. Precision in thinking produces precision in action. As you engage in conversation, negotiation, or leadership, maintain the posture of unassailable command. Observe a subordinate or peer attempting to sway a decision unjustly. Rather than reacting impulsively, you measure intent, evaluate risk, and respond once your position is fortified, turning the encounter into a demonstration of disciplined authority rather than concession. Weak reacting with frustration, strong responding with deliberate clarity. Weak, giving away attention. Strong, maintaining focus. Weak, allowing doubt to dictate tone. Strong, asserting calm control. This internal vigilance is the foundation of influence. Without it, even the strongest outward strategies collapse under internal chaos. Discipline your thoughts as you would marshal an army, positioning each idea, belief, and priority with intent. The throne of the mind is absolute. It determines the outcome of every battle before the first move is made. Let no fear, no fleeting temptation, and no idle curiosity breach its walls. Sovereignty begins here. Take command of your consciousness, and all external obedience follows naturally. Let this be your mantra as you move through every engagement and decision. I am the throne. I command. The dawn is your first battlefield, and how you rise determines whether you dominate or merely survive the day. Before the world stirs, before notifications, messages, and demands scramble for attention, you have a window of absolute control, a territory unclaimed and ripe for conquest. First strike advantage belongs to those who seize these hours with intention. Your routines are tactical maneuvers, your choices the placement of units on a strategic chessboard. Domination begins quietly, while others are still ensnared by groggy hesitation and scattered focus. Enemy recon is essential. Recognize the subtle threats that linger in the morning hours. Distraction, indecision, and overexposure to reactive inputs are all agents of manipulation that weaken authority before any engagement begins. Observe the colleague who immediately reacts to every message or email. Notice the friend who consumes trivial updates before addressing meaningful priorities. Their surrender to routine chaos is a map of weakness you will avoid. Ritual of command is your shield and weapon combined. Establish practices that signal to the mind and body that power has already been seized. A disciplined wake, deliberate movement, mental review of objectives, and clear prioritization of tasks. Each step is a drumbeat announcing presence and control, a psychological edge projected outward even before interaction with others occurs. Weak, drifting in distraction. Strong, claiming the first hours with authority. Weak, responding reactively. Strong, initiating action deliberately. Weak, surrendering attention to noise. Strong, imposing structured focus. Micro-decisions compound, choosing what to consume, what to ignore, how to prepare your mind. These are skirmishes won before the public engagements of the day begin. Guard this window ruthlessly. The reward is immediate: increased clarity, confidence, and the unshakable perception of leadership. Failure to command these hours allows the world to dictate rhythm, placing you in reactive posture and diminishing influence. Approach morning as a general approaches dawn on the eve of battle, positioning forces, surveying terrain, anticipating the enemy. Each action taken in these early hours sends ripples through the day, establishing the tone, tempo, and authority that others will recognize and in many cases obey. By the time the world awakens fully, your dominion is already asserted. Your rituals are not mere habits. They are declarations of sovereignty that others subconsciously read and respect. Stand, move, think, and act as one who controls the first strike, and you will maintain control through every encounter. Let this be your morning mantra. I seize the dawn. The day obeys. Silence is a weapon, and stillness a blade that cuts deeper than words. In the theater of influence, those who speak first surrender the initiative, revealing intentions before the battle truly begins. Strategic pause allows you to dictate tempo. Conversations are territories to be claimed, and by withholding immediate reaction, you force others into positions of response rather than authority. Observe the colleague who fills every silence with chatter, seeking approval or validation. Your measured quiet contrasts sharply, projecting calm dominance. Unseen pressure emerges from restraint. When others are frenzied, reacting to noise and distraction, Your composed presence communicates authority more effectively than any declaration. Walk into a room unhurried, stand unmoved during disputes, and watch hesitation ripple through the crowd. Weak, reacting to every provocation. Strong, allowing space for others to reveal themselves. Weak, filling silence with words. Strong, letting stillness convey command. Inner calm is the core of outer strike. Control of thought, emotion, and attention transforms internal chaos into invisible leverage. A manager calmly redirects a tense negotiation without raising voice, allowing partners to perceive the redirection as their own decision. Mastery of internal state becomes your unseen sword. Every pause is a strike, every glance a strategic maneuver. Avoid the temptation to justify, to fill gaps with impulsive action. Each measured action reinforces perception of control. Rituals of composure, breath, posture, deliberate pacing cement authority before confrontation occurs. When meeting a client or colleague, maintain presence, listen fully, and respond only when intent is clear. Silence will provoke clarity, truth, and alignment from others. Your influence extends from internal mastery to external effect without coercion. The unseen blade shapes outcomes before spoken words. Enter the fray. Maintain vigilance against impatience, distraction, and reactive tendencies. The quiet strategist moves unseen yet dictates the battlefield. Let others rush, stumble, and overextend while you remain grounded, poised, and effective. Weaponize stillness daily. Let the pause, the calm, and the invisible pressure dominate your environment and interaction. Each measured silence strengthens perception, channels focus, and commands attention without force. Close the distance between thought and effect. Your mind, steady and silent, becomes the instrument through which the world bends. Stand, breathe, observe, and strike with precision only when necessary. Let this be your guiding mantra. Stillness wields power. In the theater of power, hesitation is a liability, and cluttered battlegrounds invite defeat. Authority is diluted by distractions, weak alliances, and unresolved conflicts. A ruler who tolerates them forfeits influence. Identify the dead weight in your life. The colleagues who drain energy, habits that erode discipline, relationships that compromise clarity. Removal is not cruelty. It is the act of clearing a field to ensure decisive action prevails. Fearless execution is the mark of command. When you act with precision and certainty, observers internalize your control, understanding that hesitation invites consequences. A leader who deliberates endlessly loses the initiative. Decisiveness fosters respect and deters future subversion. Weak, delaying confrontation. Strong, eliminating distractions swiftly. Weak, tolerating inefficiency. Strong, enforcing standards without wavering. No second chances is a principle rooted in reality. Allowing repeated breaches of discipline or loyalty signals vulnerability. Indecision breeds subversion. A single act of leniency can embolden hidden challenges. Handle disagreement with calm authority. A subordinate challenges a directive, and rather than debate endlessly, you assert boundaries clearly and proceed with execution, demonstrating the cost of defiance without escalating tension. Maintain vigilance over influence channels, time, attention, and relationships, and prune ruthlessly. Every removed obstacle strengthens perception of your competence, turning potential dissent into compliance. Ritualize evaluation of your environment daily, weekly, and monthly. Identify friction points that compromise strategic advantage. Cut habitual indulgences that weaken focus. Terminate interactions that introduce chaos, and replace uncertainty with structured control. Observers learn rapidly that authority is non-negotiable. In team settings, this manifests as respect for decisions, adherence to procedures, and minimized resistance. In personal life, it manifests as clarity of boundaries, consistent prioritization, and elimination of draining influences. Each act of removal signals sovereignty and reinforces obedience without verbal coercion. Do not flinch. Hesitation compromises the battlefield. Execute with calm, measured ruthlessness, and the world yields to your direction. Let this principle guide every choice, every assessment, and every decisive action. Strength is perceived in the absence of tolerance for weakness. Stand firm, observe, act, and consolidate your field. The clean battlefield produces unchallenged authority. Command decisively, remove without remorse, and maintain unshakable clarity. Let this be your guiding mantra. Ruthlessness secures obedience. Authority is first claimed in perception before it is enforced in action. The battlefield of influence is won by those who appear unshakable, who occupy space with silent command and speak with measured tone. Your posture is a banner of power, your gaze a shield that deflects doubt. Perception as power dictates that observers obey what they cannot challenge. Stand tall, maintain even breathing, and let your voice carry weight without haste. Each movement signals confidence. Hesitation invites intrusion. Weak, slouched, fragmented, unsure. Strong, erect, deliberate, commanding. Consistency of persona is the mortar that binds your influence. Every interaction reinforces the mask you wear. Inconsistency shatters it, exposing vulnerability. Project the same intensity in private and public, in conflict and calm. Your presence must be seamless, a constant signal of authority. Charm is a weapon when blended with intimidation and subtlety. Use gestures and tone to guide behavior without overt force. Smiles are calibrated, compliments strategic, and silence conveys judgment. A subordinate questions a decision. Remain composed. Acknowledge their point briefly, then act decisively, demonstrating that your judgment is sovereign and non-negotiable. Micro-expressions betray nothing. Your inner state remains controlled. Let charisma function as an invisible lever. It persuades without coercion, intimidates without aggression, and draws loyalty through admiration. Routine rituals reinforce the mask. Daily posture drills, vocal exercises, deliberate pauses before responses, controlled expressions during feedback. Your body, voice, and mannerisms are instruments. Mastery ensures the observer internalizes your dominance before a single command is issued. In negotiations, in leadership meetings, in social encounters, project the same unwavering persona. Your mask becomes reality as consistency convinces others of your unassailability. Let influence radiate silently through presence. The mask is not deception. It is strategy, a visual and auditory representation of sovereignty. Practice until instinct aligns with image. Let subtle charisma and unbroken consistency merge into authority that is perceived first and obeyed second. Every glance, every gesture, every pause communicates command. The world reacts to the projected strength before any action enforces it. Uphold the mask with precision. Maintain the persona without falter, and wield charisma like a blade in the shadows. Influence begins in the mind of others. Let them see your throne before they encounter your rule. Let this be your guiding mantra. Presence commands, perception rules. Strike before the battlefield reveals the enemy. The mind is your weapon, anticipation your armor, and preempting your silent blade. Every potential threat lurks as a shadow. Those who act first dictate the terms of engagement. Predictive precision is your compass. Study motives, habits, and patterns until each opponent's move is mapped before it manifests. Observe subtle shifts in demeanor, inconsistencies in speech, and unexplained hesitation. These are the telltale signals of challenge. Act on insight, not impulse. Calculated elimination is the execution of foresight. Neutralize threats with efficiency leaving no trace of hesitation or emotional entanglement. Weak, reactive, scattered, hesitant, strong, proactive, exacting, deliberate. Each action is surgical. Every maneuver preserves authority while minimizing exposure. Emotional detachment is your shield. Desire, fear, anger, these distort judgment and invite vulnerability. Cultivate calm observation, allowing the mind to weigh outcomes and select the path that secures obedience with minimal friction. A subordinate questions a new protocol, respond with measured acknowledgement, then implement the strategy decisively, demonstrating control without personal offense. Let no resentment linger. Enforce clarity and reinforce hierarchy silently. The inner assassin is not cruelty, but strategic inevitability. The unseen predator ensures that threats never reach full form. Train your mind like a weapon. Rehearsal of scenarios, anticipation of resistance, and visualization of decisive action. Your presence alone should carry the weight of inevitability, signaling that opposition is futile before a single external strike. Every plan executed with foresight cements dominance. Every hesitation risks compromise. Detachment allows observation without bias and action without regret. In negotiations, team management, or social hierarchies, the inner assassin moves before perception becomes reality. Mastering this internal strategy ensures that external challenges are preempted, authority remains unbroken, and influence extends without continuous confrontation. Discipline your thoughts, sharpen predictive instincts, and practice removal of obstacles with clarity and restraint. Let precision guide your hand, let foresight command your decisions, and let detachment safeguard your judgment. Approach each situation as the chess master, anticipating every possible countermove, every pawn, knight, and rook positioned and neutralized before the game escalates. In this way, obedience is ensured not through reaction, but through the quiet, unseen orchestration of calculated strategy. Embrace the silent, internal power that precludes resistance. Your authority is reinforced before it is challenged, your command embedded before confrontation. Let this be your guiding mantra. I strike unseen, I rule unchallenged. Hunger is the engine of mastery, the silent roar that drives every move toward dominance. A predator does not feast indiscriminately. It calculates, observes, and strikes with precision. Controlled aggression is your weapon. Channel ambition like a wolf stalking its prey. Do not scatter energy in unnecessary displays. Each action must serve the hunt. Each decision sharpens your influence. Hunger without discipline invites chaos. Restraint transforms appetite into power. Satiation and starvation are tools of strategy. Know when to act and when to wait. The alpha does not rush. It observes the terrain, reads the patterns, and chooses the perfect moment to assert control. Delay enhances impact, amplifies obedience, and conserves strength. Overindulgence diminishes authority, while patient, focused pursuit heightens respect. Your hunger is magnetic. It signals capability, resolve, and inevitability. Others sense your drive and respond instinctively with compliance, recognition, or cautious deference. Weak, erratic, unfocused, overexposed, strong, patient, deliberate, commanding. A team member challenges a new directive. Listen, acknowledge their perspective briefly, then enforce your plan with calm certainty, demonstrating that the pursuit of goals is unwavering and measured. Let no challenge disrupt the rhythm of your ambition. Channel energy into preparation, strategy, and decisive execution. Maintain a presence that communicates latent power. Let restraint and focus signal that your appetite is controlled yet unstoppable. Cultivate a disciplined hunger that fuels learning, influence, and consistent progress. Approach every objective like the predator sizing its target, calculating risk, timing the strike and ensuring success with minimal exposure. Each deliberate step reinforces authority, demonstrating mastery over both circumstances and self. Do not allow impatience to erode advantage. Let anticipation guide your decisions. Hunger is both instinct and instrument. It motivates, inspires, and enforces subtle obedience. Respect emerges from consistent pursuit of excellence, fear from unwavering assertiveness, and compliance from recognition of inevitable mastery. Feed your ambition thoughtfully, strike with precision, and maintain emotional detachment to ensure clarity. Let appetite drive action, but let control govern execution. Discipline your desires, channel aggression with intelligence, and observe the responses of those around you to refine approach and maximize impact. Build momentum through calculated restraint, letting hunger amplify authority instead of dissipating it. Let every move be deliberate, every pause purposeful, and every display measured. Your presence must radiate the energy of focused pursuit, the tension of controlled ferocity, and the inevitability of success. Anchor your actions in strategic appetite and watch influence extend naturally, without coercion, as respect, fear, and recognition align toward you. The wolf is strongest when its hunger is disciplined, its strike calculated, and its patience unwavering. Let this be your guiding mantra. I hunger, I strike, I command. Life is a chessboard, and every person, word, and action is a piece waiting to be moved. Approach each interaction with the foresight of a grand master. Anticipate consequences and align positions for long-term advantage. Calculated sacrifice is essential. Concede minor skirmishes to secure the broader influence that ensures obedience and respect. Losing a trivial argument today may grant you a strategic advantage tomorrow. Understand that authority is sustained not by brute force but by positioning. Your placement on the board determines leverage. Align yourself where visibility, access, and timing converge. Let influence radiate from the strength of your stance, not the volume of your voice. Observe the intentions and habits of others. The subtleties of their choices reveal predictable patterns. Anticipate moves before opponents recognize the game has begun. Execute with calm precision. Act only when your position maximizes impact. Weak, reactive, scattered, impulsive, strong, deliberate, observant, commanding. When a colleague challenges your decision in a team setting, listen fully, acknowledge their input briefly, and redirect the group with composed authority, demonstrating that the game is controlled by your strategy, not by immediate reactions. Let every gesture, phrase, and negotiation reflect a larger design. Prioritize timing. Patience is a tool as potent as any overt display of power. Refrain from overextension. Each move must preserve resources and reinforce your influence. Recognize that visibility without position is hollow. Maintain presence where it attests with authority. Study human tendencies as you would an opponent's formation. Patterns become predictable, and compliance becomes preemptive. Use foresight to place allies and anticipate objections, orchestrating outcomes before opposition can respond. Control the tempo. Slow, measured progress signals mastery. Hasty advances suggest vulnerability. Calibrate sacrifices to reinforce trust and loyalty. Minor concessions secure major gains. Let positioning inform all interactions, creating a framework in which influence is inevitable, not enforced. Your presence must exude calculated certainty. Others should perceive your intent as coherent and unyielding. Cultivate awareness of the shifting dynamics of relationships and power structures. Adapt placement without revealing desperation. Your command emerges not from dominance but from superior alignment and anticipation. Observe, calculate, act, and reset. Repeat with consistency. Build momentum through precision. patience and insight, allowing obedience and respect to unfold naturally. The board is endless, but mastery is perpetual when every move is intentional. I see the board. I move. I command. Forge your will as a blacksmith tempers steel, hammering resolve until resistance bends to your discipline. Daily drills anchor dominance. Repetition transforms intention into instinct, creating a rhythm of authority that others sense before words are spoken. Every morning rehearse your presence, your gestures and your composure as though preparing for battle. Let consistency become a signal that commands attention and respect. Resistance training is non-negotiable. Immerse yourself in discomfort to reveal the limits of your endurance and expand them. Cold exposure, fasting or deliberate focus on challenging tasks cultivates fortitude, teaching your mind and body that hardship does not sway your resolve. Confront minor irritations without reaction. Let small trials reinforce mastery over impulses. Each encounter becomes an exercise in composure, a micro-drill in asserting unshakable command. Construct an internal codex, a personal law that governs choices, speech and movement. Let this codex act as your strategic compass, defining acceptable conduct for yourself while shaping interactions with others. When a subordinate challenges your decision, respond with calm authority, acknowledge their perspective briefly, then act in accordance with your codex, signaling that principles, not whim, drive command. Weak, reactive, inconsistent, unsure. Strong, disciplined, precise, sovereign. Ritualize these practices daily. Sequence repetition, measured challenge, and codified principles into an unbroken chain that binds attention and respect to your presence. Control emerges through preparation, a mind trained, a body conditioned, and a character fortified against fluctuation. Observe your reactions, silence hesitation, and replace it with deliberate action. Let discomfort become a familiar companion. Let your steadiness intimidate without aggression. Each day, reaffirm the codex, review drills, and confront a new difficulty with composed resolve. Position yourself as the standard, the reference for consistency and endurance. Influence is rarely seized through spontaneity. It is forged in repetition, trial, and adherence to internal law. Your dominance is quiet yet unmistakable. Obedience flows not from coercion, but from the inevitability of your presence and the magnetism of unwavering will. Align every habit with strategic intent, every decision with calculated purpose. Build momentum in incremental, controlled advances, letting ritual and resilience compound. Observe, condition, repeat, and assert. Allow these practices to become non-negotiable pillars of authority. The ritual is eternal, the will immovable. I endure, I act, I command. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Authority is not declared. It is absorbed through the gravity of presence, the silent weight of unwavering composure that signals invulnerability. In the theater of influence, you are the fortress, the unbreachable citadel around which all others orient themselves. Inviolable presence is the first step. Project stability, decisiveness, and calm in every encounter. Let your movements, gestures, and expressions radiate unshakable confidence. Allow hesitation to be invisible in your sphere. Others obey instinctively when they sense that resistance is futile, when they perceive the apex of self-command without confrontation. Autonomous authority follows. Decisions must emerge from internal law, not external validation. Speak with certainty, act with clarity, and eliminate the need for justification. Weak, vacillating, hesitant, reactive, strong, deliberate, sovereign, unflinching. It is better to be feared than loved. If you cannot be both, every maneuver, every thought, every action now converges into the final manifestation of authority. You are the apex predator in the arena of influence, the shadow throne upon which the world orients itself without question. Synthesis of power is your crucible. Mental agility, emotional mastery, and social acuity fuse into a single unstoppable force. The chessboard of life bends to your strategy as you anticipate moves before they are conceived. Observe patterns in human behavior. Identify weaknesses and strengths with the precision of a seasoned general surveying a battlefield. Mental tactics ensure clarity under pressure. Emotional discipline prevents manipulation, and social leverage converts opportunity into obedience. In daily life, integrate these skills through deliberate practice. Maintain calm when others panic. Choose words that signal authority and act decisively in uncertainty. Let your presence be inviolable. Walk into any room and let the gravity of composure command attention. Weak, reactive, unsure, seeking approval. Strong, decisive, self-anchored, unshakable. Invisible dominion is the next stage. Influence need not be overt to be absolute. Let gestures, tone, and unspoken rules shape behavior subtly yet decisively. If a subordinate questions your directive, respond with measured acknowledgement, then implement the plan with quiet authority, demonstrating that obedience is the path of least resistance. Legacy of influence is not fleeting. It is cemented through consistency, repetition, and reliability. Each interaction reinforces your unassailable presence. Each decision compounds respect, and each demonstration of autonomy deepens the instinctive recognition of your authority. Remove doubt entirely. Hesitation erodes influence. Test your limits through controlled discomfort, exposing yourself to uncertainty and adversity to sharpen fortitude. Refine your internal codex until it governs instinctively, producing actions aligned with overarching strategy. Let others sense your mastery without needing explicit declaration. Let your decisions ripple outward, shaping outcomes and expectations. Obedience becomes automatic when they internalize your patterns of thought and action, responding to your authority as naturally as the tide follows the moon. Failure to achieve this form returns you to mediocrity, where influence is transactional and respect fragile. Stand unyielding in the center of chaos, unmoved by resistance or challenge, the quiet storm that dictates terms without word. Internal mastery becomes external inevitability. Your mind, presence, and will fuse into a single cohesive force that compels compliance without coercion. Each day, rehearse decisiveness, fortify composure, and observe the subtle currents of influence, adjusting only to reinforce dominance. Recognize that sovereignty is earned moment by moment, through repetition and awareness, not through assertion alone. Your shadow throne casts a sphere of control that is felt, not proclaimed, an omnipresent signal of authority that others follow instinctively. Let patience temper action, let clarity direct strategy, and let consistency solidify the foundation of unassailable power. Integrate all elements: mental acuity, emotional regulation, social intelligence, into one seamless expression of authority. Actions align with principles, presence with perception, and influence with inevitability. In this form, the world responds before you command, and obedience becomes an instinct, not a negotiation. Let the final mantra guide every step and interaction: I am absolute, unseen, inevitable. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Each day is a battlefield where your mind, presence, and decisions determine your dominion. Enforce your authority as a general marshal's troops. Anticipate resistance, position yourself strategically, and act decisively. Daily enforcement begins with rehearsal. Practice calm in chaos. Observe patterns of influence and refine your responses to emerging challenges. Let each interaction be a test of composure, a chance to assert silent command. When a colleague questions your direction, Absorb the comment without agitation, respond with measured clarity, and proceed with your plan, demonstrating that leadership is grounded in certainty, not impulse. Mantra of command consolidates your inner sovereignty. Internalize the words, feel their weight in every gesture. Let them shape posture, tone, and intent. I am the throne, the blade, the storm. I endure, I command, I am untouchable. Repeat this silently, as armor and compass, guiding thought and action alike. Legacy of mastery is built through consistency. Unbroken practice ensures that your authority becomes instinctive, recognized without negotiation. Let every decision reflect foresight, every action embodies calm dominance, and every presence radiates inevitability. Weak, reactive, uncertain, seeking validation. Strong, decisive, anchored, commanding. Treat setbacks as drills for resilience, opportunities to refine strategy, and moments to reinforce presence. Influence extends beyond words. Your posture, timing, and unspoken decisions signal control to all observers. Cultivate autonomous authority. Act without seeking permission. Let obedience follow naturally from clarity and confidence. Observe the chessboard of human dynamics, each move calculated, each response deliberate, ensuring that patterns of deference solidify over time. Maintain vigilance over self. Unguarded emotion undermines influence, hesitation erodes respect, and inconsistency invites challenge. Command attention through deliberate restraint. Speak when necessary, act with purpose, and cultivate the aura of inevitable authority. Daily rituals of reflection, rehearsal, and self-assessment cement mastery, embedding the principles into instinctive behavior. Recognize that sovereignty is earned through repeated demonstration, not proclaimed through force or rhetoric. Every engagement is a chance to reinforce your dominion. Every decision a reinforcement of the throne you inhabit internally and project externally. Let calm, measured authority guide interactions, turning potential dissent into silent compliance through the demonstration of composed competence. Internalize control, embody presence, and ensure that respect and obedience emerge naturally, a reflection of your consistent mastery rather than imposed rule. Approach each challenge as a calculated maneuver, letting foresight dictate action, patience govern timing, and unwavering confidence establish precedent. Let the final mantra echo in thought and posture, unifying mind and behavior. I am the throne, the blade, the storm. I endure, I command, I am untouchable.